Okay, so we did classes last time, and we're just going to build on that. The last thing we treated last time was in our last session was classes, so we're just going to build on that. But because, like I said from day one, everything we'll be doing is just going to be building on what we've done before, you know. So that's why you don't need to miss any session. And if you are not available, try to go back and see that video. It's important because everything we're going to be doing will be building on what we've done before. All right, so I'll just open my code editor and we're going to generate a boilerplate. So like we said already, it's exclamation and then you hit the enter key in your keyboard. So let's change the title to 100 days. Okay. So the first we'll be looking at today, we'll be looking at button. I used button last time, but they explain what it does and what it is. So we're just going to be doing button. So button, please learn how to write your code. I think I was just trying to go through the videos and I discovered so learn how to write your code, like learn how to write your code yourself, not using the autocomplete so that you get used to the syntax. Okay, so button, this is just a button. So if I save this and go to our browser, and refresh, now you can see that we have a button here, but the button doesn't have anything. So let's go ahead and just add the text to the button. So we can say maybe submit or click me. Let's say click me and save. So here we see that we have something here, click me. So that is just the work of a button, you know. So the button will give us we use button to get to different links, different direction, different pages. So let's say we want to have this button take us to maybe Google. So we're going to add the A tag to it. All right, so copy this button and put in between the opening and closing A tag like this. And here we can add our href attribute. And we say google.com https. Okay, so this should take us to Google. By the time we click on our button, it should take us to Google. So let's go back, refresh, and then click our button. And here you see our button redirected us to Google. So you can use button for navigation just like that. So see what we did here. We just wrap our button inside the href, the A tag attribute, and then we're able to send our button. Our button was able to send us to Google. So we can also do something like let's create another file here, and let's call this file maybe contact.html. Hit enter on your keyboard and let's just generate the boilerplate here. And let's call this 100 days. 100 days contact. Let's just have some basic maybe h1. Let's just have an h1 tag here and say contact page, save. All right, so here the name of our page is contact.html. Now we want to make sure that if we click on our button takes us to contact.html. So between our href tag, we're just going to write contact.html. So you have to get the name correctly, and it's case sensitive. So contact.html, and we save. So if we go to our browser now, we refresh and we tap on our button should take us to the contact page we just created, right? So that is all about button. We can decide to style our button, just give it some styling, which we will get into pretty soon. So let's say we want to style our button here. We can just give it remember this inline styling. We can just give it maybe background color, and we can give background color and say black, and we can give it font color, that is a color, and say white. What else? We can give it a border and say 2 PS. Or let's make it 8 PS. Okay, so we can just play around with it. We'll get to CSS pretty soon, and then we can give it maybe radius or something, but I'll just leave it at that. So here, if we refresh now, our button should have some colors. You can give it padding so that the text is not too close to the edges, so you can give it a bit of padding here, and maybe just all round padding. We can say MPS and save. So that should give us some padding, something like this. All right, so that is it for button. So now you know how to use your button, and the next time we'll be using button, we might not dwell so much on it. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to Favicon. So there's something called Favicon in HTML. There's something called Favicon. Now, when you go to a website, when you go to Google Meets, or let's say now, you see this icon here. This is what we call Favicon. This icon that displays here. If you go to Google Meet, you can see the same icon here. So this icon is what we call Favicon. For every website, you need a Favicon. All right. So I will just introduce us to how we can add that. So here we will use the link tag. All right, we'll use the link tag, but here it's not a style sheet, so we're going to have icon as our ref. Then the ref, you need to have an image inside. You need to have an image inside your folder. All right, I show us how to add an image in our folder. So you need to add an image inside your image folder, and you can use it. And you can write this down. The recommended size for your Favicon image is 96 by 96 pixels. So it's a square image, 96 by 96 pixels. That's the recommended size for your Favicon, 96 by 96 px. Okay. So here inside the href now, we're just going to look for where our Favicon is, and it's inside the image folder. And the name, I've added an image here called Favicon.png. So that's the name of.
We can't see your screen, sir, for about 3 minutes now.
Whoa. Okay. All right. So I just take this again now. So I have an image inside my image folder already that I name Favicon, right? And this is the image I want to use for my icon, my website icon. And I say the size of this image is 96 by 96 pieces. So it's a square image, 96 by 96 pieces. So this is the code you can use. This is the code you can use to link your image. All right. So the rare attribute is the same icon, but the href has to be directed to where you have your image. So if your image is not inside the folder, then you might just already name your image. But my image is inside the images folder. So first I have to navigate to my images folder, /, then I'll go to the name of my image. That is how I can get my image. Now I save this. I go to my website. I already did that, so it should already be showing. So if I refresh, I already did it before now. So you can see that we have an icon here. So this is our fav icon. This is the icon I have chosen for my website. So you can also have your icon, and then when you link it, you should have something like this. All right. So that is what Favicon does. So you go to every website, you see that they have unique icon like that. That is to tell you that that is the icon of that website. Okay. So let me see if I can view the image. So this is the image you have here. That's the image you have, but it's quite small, so it's breaking. The pieces are breaking. Okay. So let's continue from there. I hope that is clear. That is all about Favicon. It's not it's something you can just do within a minute and you are out while building your website. But of course, we are in the beginner process, so we just have to put it out there. Okay. So let me remove our button and we go to navigation bar. Please pay attention. We go to, in fact, this is one of the reasons I said, if you're interested in learning this, you don't have to miss this. Navigation bar. So every website you go to has navigation bar. Every website you go to. So I'm working on a website now for a particular church in the UK. So the church is churchministry.com. Now, this website has got a nav bar. So this is nav bar. This is what we call nav bar, right? A navigation bar where you can navigate from one page to the other. Right. So without this nav bar, I cannot navigate from the home page to about page to request prayer to sermon to upcoming events, contact, blog, give, listen to us. I can't navigate. So I can do all this because of the nav bar. And without the nav bar, your website is just going to be a one-page website. So you just have the home page and it just goes like that, you get. So your nav bar, it's important as anything in your website. In fact, without the nav bar, your website is incomplete. Okay, so let's go and see how we can create our nav bar. So here, to create a nav bar, we're going to make use of nav, right? So opening and closing nav bar, something like that. And the next thing we want to do is to create an unordered list. Remember, unordered list, like I said before, everything we're going to be doing is going to be building on what we've done before. That's one thing about development. So you just need to pay attention, watch what you miss so that you don't miss anything. Remember, we did ordered lists and unordered lists, where we did unordered lists that have bullets, squares and all that, and then ordered lists, lists that have like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, and all that. Okay, so here we are going to then use our list. List, and between the list, we're going to have our A tag. A tag. Just pay attention, guys. So here, between the list icon, the list tag, sorry, that's li, we have our A tag inside our list tag. So here, we want to have a link inside our will navigate. I want to be sure my screen is still visible. Okay. Yes, sir. All right. So here, first, before we take our link, let's just give this and say this is home. So like what you saw on that website, I just showed you guys home. I can just copy this and paste. Ctrl V to paste, and paste. So let's just have like 4 tabs. So here we can have about. Here we can have services. And here we can have contact. So this is our menu, right? Now, inside our href, we'll add a link for navigation such that if we tap on this thing, it should navigate to where we want it to go. And then remember, okay, just so we understand. Let's start with the contact page. I already created a page while we were trying to link our button tag, and the page is contact.html. So what we're going to have here is going to be contact.html. This is what we're going to have. So this is, by the time you click here, it will take you to this page. So for services, we've not created a page, but let's just add it and say services.html. All right. We'll do the same thing for about us, about.html. And here we already have this page, the home page, which is index.html. So don't make the mistake of saying home.html. It's index.html, right? Because we already created a page here called index.html, which is a home page. So here we have our nav bar. Okay. Okay. I think someone is connected. So this is nav bar. But what we do now, so let me just save this and let's go to our browser and see what we have. I refresh now. So now we have home, about, services, and contact. But look at this. If I tap on this about, find not found, yeah? If I tap on contact, it will navigate to the contact page because we have created a page called contact. If I tap on index, of course, we're already on index, but if I tap on services, no page, right? So we have to go back and create our contact, our service page and about page. So what I will do is just to come in here and I will right click and copy the index.html file, and I will paste using Ctrl V, 1, 2, and 3. So what I would do is to just, I want to delete this particular contact that we created before, for no just reason. I don't want to stress myself. So here now we can rename this so you can see, because this is not what we're looking for. The names we are looking for, it's about.html, services.html, and contact.html. So what we can do is to rename it. So we can just start by renaming this one. Right click and rename. We're going to call this one contact.html. All right. So let's rename this, and call it services.html. And then the last one, we rename it and call it about. This is not correct. About the HTML. Okay. So now we have services, we have about, we have contact, we have index pages. So we've created all our pages now. So what I want us to do is just to make sure, because the way it is, even if he's navigating, you wouldn't know which page you are navigating to. So let's start from the about page and let's create below our nav bar, let's create H1, an H1 tag below the nav bar here, H1 tag, and let's just say which page it is, about page. About page like that. And contact page, let's create H1 and let's call it contact page. Services page, let's create H1 below the nav bar and let's call it services page. And our index page, let's create H1 and let's call it home page. Okay. So now if we go to our browser and refresh, you see that it's telling us that we are here, the index page, which is the home page. So we can tap on about, takes us to about page, tap on services. Okay, that's not visible, we'll fix that. And then tap on contact, it takes us to contact. So let's see why we didn't get these services. So services, H1. Okay, I'm just trying to be sure that the name is correct. Yep, it's correct. Okay, maybe I didn't save it. I didn't Control S. Maybe let's just see again. Refresh. Yeah, I didn't Control S because everything is okay. So this is how you can create your nav bar and then you can navigate from one page. So what you can see here, what you are seeing here, it's simply what is here. What you are seeing here is simply what is here. The difference is CSS that is added to this. That's the difference. So let's just add a bit of CSS to what we've done thus far and let's see how it will look like. But before we get to that, guys, I want to be sure we're flowing. Are we flowing, guys? Is it clear thus far? Are we following? Are we following? Is it clear? Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just do a bit of styling. So we already have our CSS file here. So I want to use external CSS and you already know how to link it. We've done that before. So we're still going to link it because we don't have a link here. So let's just go ahead and link our CSS here at the head tag, at the head section of our website. So I will just add it before the favicon. Let me add this link. So CSS link. So this is the file we are trying to link, styles of CSS. So that's correct. And here is style sheet. So I will just copy this from our index page. And I want to have it here. So I will have it here to services, contact page. I want to have it linked here also. I'll save this. About us, I want to have it here. And I will save this also. So we have the style sheet, this style sheet linked to all our pages. Yeah, linked to all our pages. Okay, now this might not be a good practice when your website is when your code is very large. So you might want to have different style sheets for different HTML pages. So for instance, you can have a style sheet for your home page. So that would be maybe styles. What I do is I would do home styles.css, contact styles.css, about styles.css, you know, just like that. So that I know that if I'm linking, I'm going to link the about CSS to the HTML CSS, just so my code is clean and I'm able to navigate on time, get to debug on time if there are issues with my code. All right, but for now, we don't have so much we're going to write. So we are linking just one style sheet to all the HTML pages, and which will still work. So the first thing I would love to do is just to use a body tag. And here I want to just remove margin and set margin to 0. That's all I want to do. I don't want any margin, you know, that's it's already there. Now, before we go ahead, let's go to our index page and see. Now, our nav bar, we'll have to give it a class name so that we can style it in CSS. You know, we talked about class the last time. So here, I'm going to give it a class name and I will call it nav bar. This is like the general name we call it, conventional name. So I will do that for all the pages. Here, I'll give it a class name and I'll call it nav bar. Okay, I'll save this. I'll go to contact, nav, class, and I'll give it nav bar. And about, class, I'll give it nav bar. Save. Okay. So now we have given our navbar a name, so we can then use that name navbar to style our code. All right. So we remove our padding, our margin, so it's looking beautiful here. Let's go ahead and continue with our code. Now we're going to style, just do basic styling. We'll get into full styling pretty soon, but for now, let's just do basic styling. So the first thing I want to do is to use a period. And I said last time that if you have class, you use period, then the name, which is in this case navbar, to style. But if it's an ID, which we'll get into, you use a hash sign before the name, and then you start styling. So here is a class, so we're going to use navbar. And what are we styling under our navbar first? We want to style the unordered list. So navbar space UL, which is the unordered list. That's what we are styling first. Okay. So what are we styling under our unordered list? We are going to style first. I'm sure we have 15 minutes left, so that should be the notification. 15 minutes left. Okay. Let's see if we can cover it within that. Okay. So here, let's style. First, we're going to do is to list style type. We did this last time, and we're going to set it to none. So let me just save and let's go to our. So you see that we have these bullets, but we don't want to have bullet because it's a navbar. So we have to set it to none. All right. So now that bullet is no longer there. So let's continue with our styling. The next thing we want to do is to give it a background color. So let's give it a background color. I will just give it a black background color. All right. The next thing we will style is to give it padding. So let's just set the padding for now to 0, and let's set the margin for now to 0. Okay, now let's refresh and see what we have. Refresh. So we'll have something like this. Okay, the background color now is black, but our text is not visible. So let's look for a way to make our text visible. And remember, our text is wrapped inside the A tag. So now we're going to style the A tag. Okay, so let's go and style our A tag. So .nav bar, and then we'll style our anchor A tag. Here, we'll just set the color, which is the font color. We'll set that to white, something like this, and save. So let's see if that changes has been applied. Yes, it has. Now look at it. It's a nav bar, and we don't want this underline. You know, we can maybe want to style it later and say, okay, if it's active, let it be underlined. But right now, everything is underlined. So let's go ahead and remove that underline. So we're going to use a CSS attribute called text decoration. I will set it to none. All right. So if we save text decoration none, if we save and refresh, we should see that our lines are no longer there. Okay. Next, let's say we can give it a bit of pattern. It's too close to the edge of the screen. So let's give it a bit of pattern here. So here we'll just give it maybe 20 or 15 pieces or 25, any amount for now. So let's give it 25 pieces. Yes. And let's refresh and see. So here we have, you know, our guy has shifted. Okay, so let's also style our H1 element. It's too close to the wall. So let's just give it a pattern. So at the top here, we just style all the H1 elements, and we just give it pattern maybe of 25 too. Pattern left. So pattern left 25. So basically, you can give pattern left, right, bottom, and top. So let's also give it pattern right of 25 pieces. Okay. So that we can have our guy like this. Good. So the next thing we want to do is to set our display. So let's set our display. Let's set our display, and I'll set it to block. I'll show us what that we do pretty soon, and then let's set our text. Let's align our text to center. Okay, save. So let's see. So we have something like this now. Okay, so this is how you can have your nav bar when it's the menu. I mean the footer of your website. Sometimes you see some website at the footer you still have the nav bar. You know, it's always displayed like this, you know, in a vertical format. But we can set a nav bar in such a way that it will be in horizontal format, which is somewhat this way. All right. But before then, now you see that if I bring my cursor here, it's not showing anything. But look at this. If I bring my cursor here, you see, it's showing that this is, you know, telling us, oh, this is clickable. Yeah. So let's make that happen before we can go and make this horizontal. So we just give it a pseudo class. So here we're going to use navbar, and we're styling the A tag, but give it a pseudo class which is over. We want our pseudo class to be over class. All right. So pseudo class over. What do we want to do? We just want to change the background. That's all. Background color, and let's give that a shade of gray. somewhat like that. Save. And let's see what we have. So if we refresh now, so you see, we have this guy showing us, okay, it's clickable, it's clickable, it's clickable. So we can do more than that. We can also add borders and all that. But for now, since we are not doing full CSS, this is okay. So the next thing we'll do is to make sure our nav bar is horizontal. So let's just try and do that. So here I will create another CSS attribute here, nav bar, and here we are styling the list, li. Okay, we are styling the list, and what do we want to give the list? We want to give it float. I will set the float to left, okay, because we want it to float left. So we save. Now see what is going to happen, guys. You see, our guy has disappeared because we float left. So what do we do now? We need to go back to our UL on other lists, which is where this I tag is. On other lists, which is this, and then we're going to set our overflow and we'll set it to hidden. All right, we'll set it to hidden. I know this is a whole lot, but man, watch this video again and you will get this. So here, if I refresh now, you will see that we'll have our nav bar back. Yeah, and then you see we still have our over effects. Though it's not looking, because it's not that bold again, it's not showing. So let's just increase the gray level, save, refresh, and now we should be able to see it very well. Okay, so that is how you can create your nav bar, horizontal and vertical nav bar. I know this is a whole lot, but we'll have the recording of this so we can go back and watch and see how we can get this right. I tell you guys, once you're able to get this right, you are pretty good. All right. So I think we'll call it a day today. I thought we were going to be able to do forms, but I don't want us to, take navbar and take form the same day. That would be too much information for one day. So let's stop at this, and then hopefully our next session on Monday, we will look at HTML forms, and from there, I think we should be diving into CSS proper and try to see how we can start building web pages little by little. All right, guys. Any questions to us, far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, because is it that all this styling cannot be in one navbar when you are styling it in CSS?
Let me understand. Like, are you saying if we can just use like dot
Like
bar and we can style everything at once?
everything, yes, inside one number.
No, because now we have three different things we are looking at. We are looking at the order list, we are looking at the A tag, and we are also looking at the LI, the list tag. So you need to style everything to get the result you are looking for. For instance, let's go to HTML elements. If I stand here and I want to make changes to this guy, it doesn't work. I have to enter inside this guy's tag to make changes. So we are styling this, we are styling this, and we are styling this. And navbar is actually most times very confusing because you need to know what attributes am I looking for to style. If I have to remove, for instance, you want to remove the underline in your HTML, in your navbar, you should be able to know where the underline is coming from. Is it coming from the A tag? Is it coming from the LI? Is it coming from the UL? So those are the things you need to study as you progress. Those are the little things you need to study because you need to know what am I styling and where am I supposed to stand to style. If I'm styling the UL, why am I styling the UL? Why do I have to use the list type under the UL? instead of using it under the A tag. Those are the things you need to know. Now, you remember when we're doing the on other list and other lists, we use the same thing, list type. So it should tell you that this guy is connected to the UL, right? So
Okay,
that
sir.
is basically how it is. But you just need to study this to know it. You need to study this, right?
Okay, sir.
Like
Okay, sir.
what I use here, this over is actually an advanced CSS styling, but I just wanted to do it so that we can see it, and we'll get to that when we start doing CSS pretty soon.
Okay, sir.
Yep. Any other question? Okay, guys. So we call it a day or a night. Have yourself an interest. Bye, guys.